Hello, welcome back to Mining Network. I'm joined today by Ivan Fairhall, the CEO over at Mawson Gold. Ivan, good to see you.
Very good, thank you.
Let's just start things off, just corporate overview, where you're listed and sort of where the assets are, what your main focus is.
Sure, okay, so Mawson Gold is listed on the TSX main board. Mm-hmm. We have our main project in Finland called the Rumajärvi Gold Cobalt project. We have an exploration project in Sweden called Skelleftea. We have a large 60% shareholding of an ASX listed company called Southern Cross Gold.
Awesome. And just so we can get it out of the way, what's the corporate structure looking like at the moment? How many shares outstanding? What's the market cap, cash in the bank, that sort of thing?
Okay, so we've got about 295 million shares outstanding. It gives us a market cap of about $41 million. We've got about a little bit less than $4 million cash, and we're funded to deliver a few milestones in the next 6 months.
Good. All right, we'll go through them. Let's start off with Finland, because I feel like that's your main strategic asset at the moment, right? So you've got about 1 million ounces gold equivalent. Obviously, some good cobalt credits in there, which is great. Just run us through the project at the moment as it looks, because I understand you're doing a PEA at the moment, but you're also further expansion in terms of drilling.
That's right.
Let's actually touch on the geology to start with, then look at more of that. What does the ore body look like? What type of geological deposit is it? And just a little bit more flavour. Say you're talking to a geologist about what's in the ground.
Yep. Okay. So what we have there at Mawson, as you said, we've drilled out a 1 million ounce resource, and that's a part of a much larger land package we discovered early on in the process. Very high grades over on the western side of the project, 6 metres at 617 grams a tonne gold, intense gold mineralisation, but quite nuggety, and that proved not to be something that we could drill out into a resource in a public markets context, and so the emphasis moved over time over to the eastern side of the property, to the Polocus deposit. It was an outcrop, and it was built, and from that we've gone and drilled out really in the last 4 years a 1 million ounce gold equivalent resource. That resource sits in about 5 ore bodies, but 2 main important ones called Polocus and Raya that have about 90% of the ounces in them, and they're ore bodies that dip at about 50 degrees, 55 degrees, very about 100 metres wide, 5 to 30 metres thick, but very straight and continuous down plunge, and all those ore bodies are completely open at depth, and really just extended by the extent of the drilling today, and significant upside remains at the depth of the property.
Because even though you're talking about the other zone being high grade, I mean, overall grade at the moment is around 2.5 grams per tonne. I mean, that's still pretty good grade, right? I mean,
that's right. Yeah, 2.5 grams a tonne gold and about a 0.4 gram a tonne equivalent of cobalt. So it's about, by in situ value, it's about 85% gold, 15% cobalt.
And what I wanted to get my head around most of all when talking to you today was, what's the potential for this? Because obviously 1 million ounces is usually a figure that especially a lot of gold companies look for. You're already there, but where can it go from here? And what does the exploration model that you've built up at the moment look like? What are you sort of testing?
Sure. So there's still a lot of upside on the property. As you say, we've drilled out the 1 million ounce resource, and we've gone on to do a PEA, and we're about to publish that, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But really the PEA is just the beginning. As I say, we've got the 1 million ounces. There's I think you should think about upside in sort of 2 main areas. One is resource extensions down dip. As I said, all those ore bodies are open down depth, just extended only by the extent of the drilling at the moment. And what we're looking to do is do deeper drilling to demonstrate that system extends, demonstrate the upside, and just add ounces. I call it the meat and potatoes exploration of adding ounces that are part of the project that we've defined today. But if you zoom out, like I mentioned, we've got a large property, 18,000 hectares. We've got intense gold mineralisation at one side of the property. We've got 1 million ounces on the other side of the property, 8 kilometres in between with no drilling. Really, the truth. There's been no drilling in the middle of the property. We've got a large sea horizon geochemical anomaly that is also shows up where the known mineralisation is, and another one that's not associated with known mineralisation. We've done a big MAG survey recently and built up a lot of structural dominant targets. And so it's earlier stage exploration, but high optionality, a large piece of ground, a lot of targets, and the ability to bring new shallow deposits into into the project as it stands, which we really view the PEA as just sort of a starter. It's not there because we've found it and now we need to move to the next step. The PEA is motivated by a lot of other things about moving the project forward whilst we continue to build the exploration story.
No, I was sort of hoping you'd say that, because obviously one of the things in Finland as well, obviously after the PEA you'll probably look at a PFS at some point, but usually around the PFS in Finland you can start your EIA, right? But you usually want to have as much of the mine plan done, and it's hard to change after a while. So I'm assuming and I'm hoping that over the next 12 months, 18 months, there's going to be a real big drive on exploration at Mawson. Is that the case?
Well, we've actually already started our permitting, and the way the permitting process works in Finland is the first step is actually to agree. They call it the program phase, but you should think of it like a terms of reference. And the reason we've done the PEA is we can start to say, okay, look, it's a deposit, underground mining predominantly, or maybe exclusively. We'll see how that plays out. We'll put the infrastructure here or here, and it's going to be, this big. But you don't have to define that very specifically. But what you need to be able to explain to the authorities and agree actually with the authorities is the process by which you will evaluate the impacts of a mining operation, and you're not overly prescribed by what the shape of the project is. So we still have the opportunity to explore and find more, but we're actually able to, off the back of the PEA, able to further the permitting process that we've already started. That's the EIA process. Yep. We've also started, and it's actually been initiated by our local and regional governments, land use rezoning processes, which is a normal process for projects in Finland to go through. And so they're pushing us actually to give them information so that they can help prepare the project for issuing of a mining permit in the future. So we're moving through the permitting process, and the PEA is an important part of that, to start to articulate, have those conversations. You can't permit a project you can't describe, and this is the start of that process. Okay,
awesome. And what you mentioned that you've already started the exploration side as well. What does the exploration look like over the next, say, 12 months? How many meters of drilling, and what budget have you allocated to exploration?
Sure. Well, as I said, there's two main parts of exploration. I described the targets in the centre of the property. What we first need to do there is a large systematic geochemical survey, partial leach type survey, and maybe follow that up with some base till, where you just drill through the till into the top of the bedrock, and from that look to generate targets to drill over, commencing towards the end of the year and over the winter season. And there's a lot of parts of that property that are not winter only drilling, so that gives us options there. And then, like I said, I think we need to do more to demonstrate the down dip extensions, because now we've got the PEA to explain what the value of resource extensions of those known mineralised systems are, and we're going to look to do some deeper drilling over the winter to demonstrate that it extends down deep. Okay, awesome. So essentially, a bit more regional exploration we can expect, and then also down dip, so you can increase the existing resource. Good. Okay. So with the PEA, what are you hoping that people might be able to understand once it's out? What's the? Sure. Yeah, sure. So what the PEA is going to help people understand is there's a couple of really strong benefits of the ore body geometry and the location of where it is. So the ore body geometry, as I mentioned, it's relatively thick, 5 to 30 metre thicknesses. It's dipping at 50 degrees, so we get good productive mining conditions. We're in an area of the world that is highly skilled and relatively low-cost workforce, is the truth, if you compare it to other mining jurisdictions. And what comes off the back of that is low mining costs. And we can articulate those with good detail. SRK has done the mining design and helped us calculate the costs, and I think people are going to understand a lot more about what it means to have a deposit in Finland. We've got good gold metallurgy, so high gold recoveries. We've got a plan to extract the value from the cobalt through flotation, producing a concentrate, and also where we are in Finland. We're half an hour out of the capital city of the north of Finland, in Lapland. We've got power close by, roads go up to the property, low infrastructure burden, no big roads, no bridges, no camps, it's a great place of the world to be building a project, and it's low taxes and all of those things. And so bringing all those ideas together in the PEA, that's what people are going to get to understand what it is to have a deposit in this part of the world.
Have you already released any metallurgy updates yet? Has there been any preliminary work?
There's been no updates released, but so no surprises coming either.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Sweden, because this is a bit more early stage, right? And I believe you own around, or you have an option to earn in, it's around 80%?
85%.
85%.
Yep.
What's the earn-in agreement? Let's go through that first. How do you get to that 85%?
Sure. So Mawson, to earn in, I think the initial stage is to earn in 75% by spending $3 million, 200 and something thousand in the first year, 200 and something thousand in the second year, and then 3 million after 4 years. So, doing exploration, earning your interest. If you like what you see, it's going to be relatively easy to earn into that interest. And then the only thing we have to move to 85% is deliver a PFS within 4 years. Within 10 years, so an additional 6 years. So quite a long period of time, not a onerous commitment on our behalf, and certainly if the property is good, like we think it is, not an unreasonable amount of cost to earn an interest like that.
I guess the real question is, why did you decide to do? What attracted you to this?
Sure.
This project?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it's close to our existing property, so it's easy. It's in ground that we understand, and so there's a lot of synergies, and so it's easy for us to get our heads around the opportunity. But it's also in a great part of the world. It's in the Skelleftea mining belt in northern Sweden. 7 million ounces has come out within 22 kilometres of the project. It's been produced within 22 kilometres of the project. There's operating mines, there's 2 mills, 3 mines, and supportive local workforce, skilled labour, all of those sort of things that you're looking for when you want to go and develop a project. And so it's a great part of the world to find a new project. It had never been drilled before. We had outcropping gold, which you don't get a lot of in that part of the world, and it's certainly a very good place to start. And the deal structure made it a bit of a no-brainer to go and spend a little money, and we'll earn our interest in the first year. We've put out some drill results, 0.4 metres at 132 grams a tonne from the second hole in the property. There's a few more drill holes to come. We've got a mineralised system there, and requires more work, and we'll be continuing to earn our interest over time.
I bet the outcrop is probably a nice change from base to till work to begin with, right?
That's right. Well, last time we had an outcrop, we found 1 million ounces. So.
Yeah. Okay. And geologically, I assume this is all part of the same greenstone belt that runs across sort of Sweden, Finland, and
broadly, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, what does the exploration model look like with Sweden? It's still fairly early stage, but what does the work plan look like that you're envisioning over the next few months?
Sure, that's right. We've only got 6 holes into the property, and we've drilled in and around in the outcrop, and we've released the results of 2, and I think what we can say is we've seen the mineralised system extend. We've got some high grades. We need to understand the structural controls, the controls of, but we've also got a much larger area as well, and we'd be looking to do similar things to what we're doing up in Finland over the larger area, and then ultimately drilling to extend the gold mineralisation that we know of, and perhaps find more elsewhere on the property.
Okay. Have you allocated, have you committed to a certain amount of drilling this year, for example? Is there a thousand number of meters that you've put in your head?
Well, we've already basically earned our commitment this year,
yep.
And next calendar year we only have to make a $280,000 Canadian commitment, which I feel fairly confident in saying we will commit it, but the ultimate pace and quantum of spend will be a function of the exploration results.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Just onto the Australian. I guess you own 60% of another company now, don't you?
That's
Can you
right.
just run us through that and why you decided to?
Sure. Yeah. So Mawson a couple of years ago acquired some properties down in Australia, made a really great discovery on one of them. There's 3 properties, all good, but one became more advanced as a function of the results that were coming out, and we were struggling to get valuation. We think that it's a great property. We thought it was a great property, but we're struggling to get that value recognised in the market. So the decision was to spin it out, bring in a dedicated management team, sort of a dedicated structure, a listing on the ASX where there's interest in this, and that's really proved to be a very successful endeavour, we raised $11.8 million. Mawson diluted to 60%. It's now just a shareholder of that company, and they've got a strategy to build out this discovery at Sunday Creek. They've had some fantastic drill results and hope to see more come. And at this stage, Mawson's just a very happy shareholder of what is really a hot new commodity down, a new project down in Australia. And on any given day, that our shareholding in Southern Cross is nearly worth Mawson's entire market cap.
Well, I was going to touch on there. So you still own 60% as it stands, and what's the market capitalization of Southern Cross at the moment?
More than Mawson. So, in the $50 million range. Mawson's in the $40 million range. Our interest in Southern Cross today is worth about 30 million Canadian, and our own share price our own market cap is worth 40. So we've got.
So you've
cash.
basically you've got cash as well. So you've got about 7 million attributed to the million ounces you've got, and nothing on the exploration.
Exactly. So we've got 1 million ounces in Finland, exploration upside. We've got a big chunky investment in where the valuation is. People can look it up, and so it's a very solid portfolio of assets that we've got. So we're feeling pretty good about the world.
No, I would. Just to finish off, I mean, look, investors looking at this, what can they expect over the next 12 months? Obviously, you've got your PA next month, but really looking a bit more further forward, what can we be excited by?
Yeah, sure. So obviously we've got the PEA, and that really is an important milestone for Mawson. It's the first time economics have ever been run over the project, and we hope to show that what we found is significant and prove that in an economic sense, not just in a geological sense. So that's going to come out relatively soon. We've got this regional work where we're going to be generating hopefully a lot more targets in the centre of the property, more places to drill, more places to make discoveries, and we've got some plans to extend the mineralisation through drilling down dip and help people understand how this starter project really grows much, much bigger than it already is.
Awesome. Ivan, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Cheers.